What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Pure Evil MMA. I have a very special guest joining us here for the first time on Pure Evil MMA. We got the man, the myth, the legend, Keith Berry. What's going on? How you doing today?
Good, man. Good. Started my morning off early, so I'm just relaxing over here. I'm over in California time. I totally forgot you're on the East Coast.
Yeah, man. Well, is it cold over there right now? Because Dana just tweeted out a picture last night, not too far from you, over in Vegas. It's snowing, believe it or not.
Yeah, it's been kind of crazy weather over here. I mean, on the East Coast it always snows and it's always cold, but over here it's been ridiculously cold for this type of Southern California atmosphere. And yeah, it snowed. Big Bear. There's tons of powder up in Big Bear, and there's snow everywhere. So I saw Vegas. Yeah, Vegas was snowing all crazy, and yeah, it's kind of cool.
Well, before we jump into any talk, so since we're on the subject, I wanted to ask, like, does that have an effect on fighters' bodies? Like, if you're over on the East Coast, you're kind of used to the changing of the seasons, you know, the summer and then the winter. It's ridiculous. You know, out where you guys are, it's hot all the time mostly. So when you experience cold weather, can you actually feel that effect on your training and on your body?
I don't feel it too much, man. I kind of think of it like when I run and stuff. I like to go up to Big Bear and colder places, and I train a lot in Vegas. So the elements make you stronger, you know. All that, the running and stuff, it's all just mental conditioning. So I think it helps. It kind of sucks when you're doing it, but then afterwards you're like, okay, the elements make you a little stronger, you know.
So let's jump right into things, man. Start from the top for people out there that probably just saw you. There was a little while that you had a break, and then you returned to Bellator. But most recently, people may have saw you on, you know, Chuck Liddell versus Tito Ortiz. How did you get a part of that? How did they approach you?
Yeah, I got put on the undercard kind of late. I had a bare knuckle boxing fight set up in Wyoming that I was kind of training for specifically for a little bit, and so I was getting ready for that. And then literally last minute, it was kind of a huge shit show, man. Like, I heard a lot of bad things about some promoters that were to do with the organization, and I was already kind of invested, so I just kind of kept training. And then last minute, they told me my guy got hurt, but like, I guess he ended up fighting. So, but no one even got paid from that event. So it was I think it was the Bare Knuckle Fight Federation.
Yeah, people are getting it confused with BKFC. It's not BKFC. It's the other one with, you know, Chris Eben was just talking about it as well. Yeah,
so Dave Feldman, he's the good guy, the better organization with BK, the one you mentioned before.
Yeah, yep, BKFC.
Yeah, but I'm getting all confused with all these acronyms. BKFC, MFC, this, you know, but yeah, I think it's really. Sorry, somebody was trying to call me real quick.
That's all right.
Okay, but yeah, man, I think they kind of put me on last minute after that one kind of fell out, and promoter called me and said, "Hey, do you want to fight on the Tito Ortiz Chuck Liddell undercard?" And I said, "Yeah, of course. I've already been training for something, so I kind of jumped on it last minute. I had like 10-day notice, and I came out swinging, tried to knock the guy out. It didn't work out. He ended up getting a submission on me, and now I'm kind of back to training. And I heard some talks of maybe Joe Schilling I might fight him in Bellator at Pechanga March 29th. I think that would be a real cool fight. He's like kickboxing legend, and I like to stand up, so I think that would be a fun stand-up fight for me.
Yeah, I saw you tweeting about that. That would be an awesome fight. Fans would be all over that, especially Joe Schilling, and then you guys, you know, both have a history that all MMA fans know about. This would be a classic matchup.
I think so. I think it would be a cool matchup. I heard one of my trainers that I work with, he talks with Bellator, and he was saying that they were asking for an opponent for him. So I said, yeah, let's do it, 185. So we're just kind of waiting to hear from his camp just to kind of see. But it's all hearsay until I actually get the contract, you know. So, yeah, but it's kind of something exciting. I'd love to fight, getting back to bare knuckle fighting. If I ever did a bare knuckle fight, I would love to fight Chris Leben. I got offered that a couple times. But, he just got signed by that new bare knuckle fighting organization, the better one.
Yeah, BKFC.
So, yeah. Is it BKFC?
Yeah, BKFC, Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships.
There you go, BKFC. Yeah. So.
And the way to distinguish it, guys, Beck Rawlings is the one that's fighting for BKFC. Matter of fact, my co-host from Ultimate Fighter, James McSweeney, was trying to, or is currently trying to get on there as well. Chris Liebman going there. But really quick, we were talking about Golden Boy, and we're going to kind of, jump out of order here because what were you expecting going into that? Because it was a new promotion. What the hell is his name that runs it? The boxer. What the hell is his name?
De La Hoya.
Yeah, Oscar De La Hoya. So did you kind of feel trusting with, giving it in his hands that it wasn't going to be a shit show? What were you expecting it to be, and what did it end up being in your experience?
Yeah, I was expecting, I was kind of expecting how it was. They built up the main card, the main fight, and then the rest of the fights they didn't give too much recognition to. So I kind of figured they were basing all their pay-per-view off that one big fight. But, I was supposed to fight that other fight, so when I got a call for this opportunity, I was like, heck yeah, man, I'm just glad to have a fight. And, when you're training for a fight and all of a sudden your fight gets pulled, it's like, it takes your heart out of you, So it was just good to get a fight, and then I was excited to be under Oscar De La Hoya's first MMA fight. And the promotion was really good, man. They treated all the fighters good. They didn't pay everyone like they said they did. I mean, the pay was crap in my opinion. And if you're a professional fighter, you should be getting a base on a bigger organization like that. You should be getting a base of 5-5. And they were doing some amateur fights to kind of build up the night to sell the smaller seats and stuff. And I understand, but yeah, it ended up being an okay show. The main event, I thought Chuck shouldn't be fighting, but everything kind of turned out all right. It was an okay night.
Well, even before that fight started, we're like, well, we'll end on this note with that topic. But Rashad was even saying right before we knew what was about to happen, it felt surreal. It felt like we were living in a dream almost. Did you get to sit there and enjoy the main event? And what were your thoughts? What was your initial reaction before they first went in there and touched gloves?
Yeah, I was fighting. I fought right after. They call it a swing bout. It kind of sucks when you're a fighter and you get the swing bout, but I wasn't going to be picky. So I didn't fight till after the main event. So I actually watched the main event just in the back room, and it kind of went how I thought. It was a little sad to me, honestly. I love Chuck Liddell, and I watched him growing up, and I like Tito Ortiz. He's okay. He does have a big ego, and he's just Mr. all about Tito and all that good stuff. But yeah, all in all, it was a little sad seeing Chuck get knocked out like that, because I thought Chuck already won 2 of the fights when they were in their prime. So it was just kind of like a total publicity fight. So it was a little sad seeing Chuck get knocked out, but it was funny watching the commission trying to stop Tito from burying his imaginary body in the cage, and that was kind of funny.
You see, that kind of pissed me off, though. Like let him do the antics. Why not?
I know, they should have just let him, but it was funny that, I don't know, it's funny that they even tried to stop him, because it's like, come on, man, it's like kind of his thing, whatever.
Yeah.
And then he still wanted to do it, and I don't know, I just thought it was kind of funny.
All right, so going back to some of the other discussions that I really want to have with you, is Ringrust real? Because we know that you spent a little while out of the cage. When you first got back in there for Bellator, was it a little weird? I know the fight ended up going to a draw against Kevin Casey, but what did you experience in there? Can you say that Ringrust is real? Is it kind of a figment of the imagination? What was it to you returning to the cage?
No, I think it's real. I think it all depends on your mentality, but it'll affect you for sure. The more you're active, the more you're training and you're having fights and you're going in there and you're competing and you're going through that process, the better. The more time you have off, I don't think it's that good for you. Because I took a little time off. I was boxing professionally, and I was doing well and stuff, but MMA and boxing, they're 2 different sports, and if you're going to do MMA, you need to be doing your jiu-jitsu, your wrestling. It's the whole thing. So, that's where I end off with that.
Well, BKFC, we were talking about, the bare knuckle, like you just mentioned, it's way different. Boxing's different. MMA's different. Well, when you go to bare knuckle, you don't got to worry for a takedown. So, would you really like to, play a card in there? Because I know there's a lot of fighters. Even Artem Lebov is now jumping on there. Would you like to do that, and why?
It's kind of like a fetish thing, honestly, man. And like it's like a little off the reservation because I feel like UFC's gotten all the rules now, and then all of a sudden now they want to bring up the bare knuckle fighting. I think it's interesting because I started street fighting when I was younger, so it's kind of like basically a street fight, man. It's a street fight. You have no gloves. You got to hit a little differently because you don't want to break your hand right away, and you have to be a little more accurate in your shots. You can't just wing, right hands and, throw haymakers. You don't want to hit the top of their head. And so it's just like a different strategy, totally. And it is a lot different than boxing. Because in boxing, there's a lot of things you use with your gloves. And it is a totally different game. So I trained very specifically for that for a couple months, just like hitting pads, without gloves and kind of shadow sparring with people without gloves and stuff like that. And it was interesting. And there's certain kind of clinch work you could do too, that you could do some dirty boxing type stuff with that isn't illegal in bare knuckle fighting. So it brings a kind of dimension to the game right there when you can clinch up and then dirty box from there. So it's definitely different. I have a lot of scar tissue, man. I've been fighting since I was 15. I'm 31. I've had a lot of fights. So shit, I could probably do one and then I'd be done. That's why I would love to do one with somebody like Chris Lieben, a legend like that would be fun, But I wouldn't do a bunch of them. I don't think they're great for the longevity of your career. You get all cut up. If you see these guys in these fights, I mean, even the guys that win, they get cut the hell up and they get bloodied up. So and I already get bloodied up in a fight, so I think it would be even worse for bare knuckle. But you just got to move your head a lot and really work that head movement.
Well, man, you fought for some of the biggest organizations that combat sports knows, and you're talking about the whole age thing. I mean, you're not that old, but I understand what you're saying. Like, every fight that you're going through is aging you as a fighter, and you've been in the game for so long. But we just saw Anderson Silva in there, and I saw you tweeting about it that night. What did you think of Anderson's performance, man? There's so many people that write him off. Fans will write him off, but, like, to me, it seems like he still got it. He can still hang.
Yeah, no, I thought he did good. I was impressed. I wanted to see 2 more rounds. Honestly, it was a cool fight, and I think he got in. How do you say his name?
Israel Adesanya. It's a weird name. Yeah, Israel Adesanya.
Yeah. The style bender. Yeah, I think he got in the style bender's head a little bit, and that was a cool fight. It was definitely cool to watch as an MMA fan, and I like the fight. It would be cool if it went 5 rounds, and I hear Silva has another fight coming up. I just don't like when he puts his hands down and he wants you to hit him. I'm like, oh shit, don't do that. But yeah, it was a good fight. I was fully entertained.
Yeah, like you said, man. If there was 2 more rounds, I felt like he had so much more to give. Like, you get kind of annoyed as an Anderson Silva fan because he plays those games. He's paid the price for them, but his head movement, his time, it still looked all on point. 2 more rounds, I think he could have taken it on that note. I think that would have been great. And another name that we just broke news about yesterday is GSP, who's kind of in that legendary ship along with Anderson Silva, man. What are some of your fondest memories of GSP?
GSP, man. I've seen a bunch of fights. I remember training with Jay Huron back in the day, and Jay Huron was a big contender coming up. Real good wrestler, good striking, tough guy, and I think that was like George St. Pierre's maybe first or second fight in the UFC. And I knew Jay for a while, and I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be a good fight. And then George St. Pierre just starched Jay, and he's super tough. So when I saw that, I was like, oh man, this guy's coming. So his style did change, but yeah, GSP is definitely one of the best of all time. I've watched a lot of his fights over the years, and one of the, I don't know why this fight comes up. The second most fight of GSP is when he lost to Sarah. I mean, that was crazy. But then he came back and he ended up beating him, and any loss that he's had, he's avenged. So yeah, I think he's definitely one of the best of all time.
Yeah, that fight with Matt Serra after that season Ultimate Fighter that Matt was on. GSP had a lot of trouble after that loss. There were so many people that were, jumping on the ship and, really making him feel bad. He had to do sports psychiatry and stuff like that. And you kind of fell for him because it's somebody that he's literally the greatest of the division for so many years, and he proved that even after it. We were able to see that drive again in GSP after that loss, which, you know, was nice to see. And then the longevity of, you know, how far he was able to go after all the years and getting frustrated with USADA and Johnny Hendricks. And then when he came back the time that he did against Michael Bisping to get the win, that was a magical moment.
Yeah, yep. I agree. And people were kind of doubting him with that Michael Bisping fight, and he ended up finishing that fight. That was a great fight recently, the last one, I think. So, yeah.
So
I'm always a fan of GSP.
Before we end this interview, man, you're talking about Joe Schilling. The fight will be on March 29, so the clock is ticking. Right now, if you really want this fight, what do you have to do to get it?
You know what? They offered it to me, and we said yes right away at 185. I don't know who else they're looking at. It's kind of really in their hands, you know. They're more of the A side, you know. I'm more of the B side, so I'm just coming in. I mentioned something on Twitter when I heard it from my manager, him saying, "Oh yeah, you want to do it?" I said, "Yeah, throw my name in the hat for sure. 185, I'm down." And then, I mean, it's my hometown for Pechanga over here at Bellator. It comes to my hometown. I grew up in Marietta. It's in Temecula. So, and Joe Schilling's from LA, and we have a lot of local people come down here. It kind of only makes sense. I already kind of hit him up on Twitter. You saw that. I didn't say anything too crazy, but yeah, I mean, I think I'm probably going to go in there and fucking try to knock him out, and he's probably going to try to knock me out. But those are the funnest fights for fans and people, and I love to challenge myself, so I'm looking forward to it. We'll see what happens. I mean, I just got to keep my fingers crossed. They usually make decisions today, so they'll probably let me know today, and then if I get that, sounds good. Sounds good to me.
All right, guys. Well, make sure to follow Keith Berry on his Twitter page and stay up with all the latest news at the KO Kid 951. That's KOKID 951. Keith, I want to thank you so much, man. It's an honor to have you on the show finally. And what we like to do at this point in the interview is hand the imaginary microphone over to you. If you have any shout outs, any sponsors, anything at all, the floor is now all yours.
Yeah, man, no, I appreciate you taking your time, and sorry it was a little hard for me to coordinate, but yeah, I appreciate you having me on here. And my main sponsors are, I have this vegan company, Garden of Life. They make like great protein, all different types of good plant-based protein. Dollface extracts and Gentleman's Fight Club. They're all like sponsors that really help me out with, you know, money and clothing and stuff. So yeah, man, that's it. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And really quick, are you on Instagram as well for people to follow?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram. It's Keith Berry 949.
And I'll have that link down in the description, guys. Thank you so much, Keith. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we're really hoping that you get this fight with Joe Schilling. We'll be rooting for you, man. God bless.
Cool, man. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.
There you guys go. Keith Berry, legend. Been in the scene for so long. I saw that he followed me on Twitter, and immediately I reached out to him trying to get him on the show. We arranged it in a week. So big shout out to Keith. And really cool if he gets that fight with Joe Schilling. Could you imagine that? It was nice getting his take. Guys, subscribe down below. I'm Evil Eddie from Pure Evil MMA. You can find the podcast on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, Player FM, wherever really they have podcasts going on. And we got the video link if you are listening to the podcast and you want to watch the video. The link is right down below. If there's anyone else that you would like to see on Pure Evil MMA, comment their name. Give us a thumbs up if you're enjoying the content. It means a lot. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel, even though we got our live stream pulled, which might be a little bit better moving forward because now I can give you guys a little bit more better quality content. You know, doing live interviews for so long, there's crazy things that happen that you have no control of, which could be fun. I'd rather give you guys better quality, add in the music, add in the effects. I think that's the right direction that we're going. So things happen for a reason, and I'm looking forward to see what comes of it. Guys, there's fights going down this weekend. I will have you updated with the coverage at pureevilmma.com. Follow me on Twitter at evil_echo. That's EVIL_ECCO. And also on Instagram at pureevilmma_. We got a new podcast dropping either today or tomorrow by the time that you're hearing this. I'm sure it will be out. So make sure to hit subscribe on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, wherever you're listening to Pure Evil MMA. I appreciate it, guys. White knuckles to the end. Remember, without evil, there can be no purity. Behave yourselves.